Welcome to NYNJPA Weather. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino, and our storm is looking more like a dud than a bomb as we look at the latest observations and model guidance this afternoon. Let's take a look at what we have. On the surface map as of 2 p.m., we have our first area low pressure exiting out into the Atlantic. It produced some rain showers throughout the entire northern mid-Atlantic, mixing in with a little bit of sleet and snow at times, but that disturbance is exiting out. And we have our second low pressure system starting to develop over the Florida coast. Now, this low pressure system was originally expected to track up into the New Jersey coastal waters and towards the coastal waters just south of New England. That is no longer the case because the disturbance associated with this storm is not developing as expected, and in fact, the whole storm really just isn't coming together. As a result, a lot of the models now, surprise, surprise, are now shifting everything east and relatively weak. Now, the forecast that I've had out the past 24 hours really has been a very conservative forecast compared to others that are out there. So I really haven't had to change much and knock down maybe an inch or so. The biggest change is going to be along the coast where the rain will not be as heavy. Our water vapor satellite picture clearly shows our disturbance sitting over the Mississippi River Valley is separated from the convection and the thunderstorms that have been developing off the southeast coast. This was all supposed to become converging and starting to interact with each other by now, and it clearly has not. In fact, look at the trough. The trough is more of a neutral orientation when it was supposed to start tilting negative, and as a result, the low pressure track that is currently sitting over Florida is going to be more to the east-northeast, which basically means the storm is going to miss much of the northern mid-Atlantic. That means less snow, less rain, less wind. Overall, not much of a big deal over the overnight hours tonight into tomorrow morning. Sure, there'll be some rain, there'll be a little bit of snow, but this is not an epic storm in any way, shape, or form for tonight into tomorrow morning. Now, if you're up in Maine and up in New England, different story. The storm's going to have a little bit more time to intensify and produce heavier snowfall in those locations. So if you're going skiing up in Vermont, you have a good shot of seeing some pretty heavy snow, but not in the northern mid-Atlantic. Now, I just want to quickly go over the 500 millibar pattern from this morning that has been observed. And as I've been beating the drum for several days now, look what we have. We have a positive NAO pattern, which basically means there's nothing to block up any of these storms off the East Coast. And surprise, surprise, they're moving further out to sea than what was expected in the model guidance. And therefore, these storms are not as nearly as bad as what some of the guidance was advertising. Also, we have a very strong Pacific jet slamming into the West Coast, which means we're going to continue to see these disturbances move through the United States and produce some rain and snow showers from time to time. But again, I do not expect any major low pressure systems. Now, Tuesday though, that might be a little bit of a different story. I'll get to that in just a moment. So here's the forecast I have out. Notice I dropped the rainfall amount about an inch. I'm only expecting about an inch of rain at most. And that rain includes all of southeastern Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, New York City, and southern Connecticut. For the most part, it's going to be raw out there. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 30s, but it's going to be all rain. And you could see a little bit of mixing of snow and sleet in a heavier band, but again, there won't be any accumulation whatsoever. Further north and west, towards north central New Jersey and areas like Allentown, Pennsylvania, and locations to the north of I-95 in Connecticut, you could see a trace to at most 2 inches of snow, and that's going to be mostly at the very end of this storm and primarily on cold surfaces and grassy surfaces. Otherwise, there will be no accumulation on the roadways whatsoever. Then we get a little bit tricky with the forecast. The interior forecast is highly dependent on your elevation. If you're below 500 feet, or actually if you're below 1,000 feet really, I'm not expecting much in the way of accumulation as far as the roadways. Now on the grass, anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of snow can be expected, but again, this is not a major storm whatsoever, and in fact the roads will be wet. They might be a little slick, but they won't be impassable. You'll be fine tomorrow morning with this storm. Further up from 1,000 to 1,500 feet, you get a little bit more snow accumulation, 3 to 6 inches. Now, some of this snow could actually stick on the roadways tomorrow morning, but again, this is not a major winter storm in any way, shape, or form. And then if you're all the way up above 1,500 feet, if you're up there skiing, doing whatever, looking for 4 to 8 inches of snow. Most of these locations in the interior could expect more on the low end of these scales, as I'm really not expecting much in the way of an impressive storm whatsoever. But there is a chance, because the atmosphere is so unstable, that you could move into a heavier snow band that just kind of pops up. So that's something that's why I kept a little bit higher end on the snowfall totals. But again, it's not nearly as aggressive as some individuals had out there for this storm. As far as the start times, I'm looking at a start time in the rain around 8 p.m. tonight. The rain will be light to moderate. It will pick up in intensity around midnight tonight. The snow as well will begin as a rain-snow mix and then pick up in intensity and change over to all snow after midnight. And then basically from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m., that's when I'm expecting the heaviest precipitation, followed by a rapid end to the precipitation over the Philadelphia metropolitan area around 6 to 8 a.m. 8 to 10 a.m. for the New York City metropolitan area, the precipitation will be over. And then further north and east into Connecticut, look for an end in the precipitation by around 10 to 11 a.m. with basically everyone dry by tomorrow afternoon. And then basically we have one more disturbance move through on Saturday. This next disturbance moves through early Saturday morning with a few rain and snow showers. Not really that much of a big deal. It will exit most likely by about 10 a.m. and from 10 a.m. on through Monday, really, high pressure is going to be in control with scattered clouds. Temperatures averaging slightly below normal in the upper 40s to mid 50s, but nowhere near as cool as what we're experiencing today. Overall, a rather nice weekend with light winds and tranquil weather conditions. Now, Tuesday is going to be a very interesting day. On Tuesday morning, the warm front associated with this low pressure system up in Canada will be driving through New England, and the northern mid-Atlantic, especially the Philadelphia metropolitan area, is going to warm up significantly. I would not be surprised if someone sees 70 degrees on Tuesday afternoon. Now, this depends on the speed of the cold front that will approach from the west, which will have the potential of producing strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, these thunderstorms could be rather strong with the potential for some large hail, heavy rain, frequent lightning, and yes, possibly even some strong wind gusts over 50 miles per hour. We're going to have to keep an eye on this cold front and this developing situation for Tuesday evening. It could be rather rocky. And then moving on to the end of next week, I just want to show the 500 millibar pattern on the European model guidance. You can see it's pretty much zonal. From west to east, we have disturbances moving through rather quickly. This is a warm pattern. This pattern basically produces a seesaw effect of slightly above normal temperatures to near normal temperatures, with passing cold fronts moving through every 3 or 4 days. Overall, not a big storm type pattern, but certainly a pattern that would produce much better weather conditions for, baseball games. And at the surface, you can see on Thursday morning, one weak cold front moves through, not producing much in the way of precipitation, a few scattered showers, and then the sun comes back out for Thursday afternoon and Friday, with high pressure pretty much in control and tranquil weather conditions. Again, very progressive pattern, temperatures averaging near to slightly above normal, and a nice break from all of this stormy weather. It looks like winter's finally going to lose its grip and we move into spring. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. This is the weather without the hype.